Hey, there we go. I can see you now.
All right, perfect.
How's it going, man? How's everything?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. Quick one. Congratulations for your victory, man. That was a great performance, man.
Thank you.
You're very, very quick. Could you just give like a quick introduction about yourself, to the people who may not know who are watching this?
Yeah, my name is Nick Klein. I train out of Pura Vida BJJ and MMA down in Milwaukee. Just recently got signed to the UFC. I had a pretty good performance on the last episode of Dana White's Contender Series, and I've kind of just been doing interviews following all of the aftermath of the fight. So
Yeah, I can
yeah,
imagine, man. After a performance like that, I think every outlet, every person wants you on the podcast before you blow up, in
yeah,
popularity.
yeah.
Oh man, congratulations on being signed to the UFC, man. How does it feel?
It feels good, man. Kind of feels it's not it's still kind of surreal in a way, but at the same time it was my goal to get here, so in a way I can't believe it, but on the same page I expected to be here, so it's good to have finally arrived a little bit. I feel like all the work I put into this kind of just is merited now. Now I just got to prove that I belong in the UFC.
Oh yeah, man. You proved. I think you proved you deserve to be here in the first place, man. That performance on Dana White's Contender Series, you finished him in like 35 seconds. It was quick. You took him down. You subbed him, man. It's quick. What goes into like a fight camp for something as big as that? Like, oh, if you win, you get a chance to get signed to the UFC. Like,
Yeah, I was lucky enough to honestly go through my whole fight camp without having to think about that at all. I was coming off of an 8-week fight camp, but it was for a different opponent in Davenport, Iowa. And it wasn't until about a week before that fight that I had the opportunity to go on Contenders and took it. I didn't look up my opponent at all. I didn't look up any film. I didn't look at anything. I had asked a number of people to go look at him, but I didn't want to see him myself. I didn't want to. I didn't want to get in my head and all nervous and kind of overthink any of his tendencies. I just wanted to work on a couple of things that people might have watched him do with those people, rather than watch film on him and worry about what he might do.
right? So it was a short notice, basically. You just took it. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I
That's
found out the
that's that's
Monday.
even more impressive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so now that you're signed and everything, like you celebrated, man. Well, how's that? You go out, you know?
Yeah, you mean like how is like getting signed, or like how has life been since
Yeah.
getting signed, or
Yeah, like how's life been? How did you celebrate, you know, like
um
imagine yeah.
dude, I had a couple of pulls off the bottle that Dana gave us. We all got a bottle of Howlerhead, and from there I just walked around in Vegas with my family for a little bit. Me and my girlfriend stayed an extra day in Vegas. Um we got 3 kids at home, so it was nice to have a little time away from the kids, just some time to ourselves. Now that I'm back home, it's just back to regular life, man. I go back to my regular day job and stuff on Monday, and yeah,
That's
just
awesome,
gonna
man.
just gonna wait for the UFC call.
Yeah, and speaking of, let's play matchmaker here. Who are some opponents maybe that you're looking at? I don't know. Anyone
Man,
interested?
nobody. Right? I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. Me and my team have a couple of names picked out. Um, but as of right now, I don't really want to start spewing names out, making people think that I'm looking for call outs or anything.
Yeah,
Really, right now, dude, I'm just gonna wait for the UFC to call, and we'll go from there. I'll talk it over with my team, and we'll go from there
sounds good. How quick would you like to get back in there?
before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think the 310 card would be perfect.
When
Yeah,
is that one?
December.
That's perfect. Yeah, that is perfect.
Yeah. So what's your goals right now in the UFC? What are you trying to accomplish in the next, let's say, year or so?
Well, right now I have a 4-fight contract, and so I'd like to get 4 fights out in a year, healthily. Um, right now the goal is just 4-0 on my first contract, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna bite this off in small chunks. Like first the goal was just get to the UFC. Well, it took me 8 years to do that. Now the goal is to prove I belong in the UFC, and the offer on the table to prove I belong is a 4-fight contract. So 4-0 on that contract is my next goal.
Yeah, best of luck, man. I truly do believe like you have bright things ahead of you, man. Like you've definitely got the looks, you definitely got the performances backing it. It's all
Yeah,
looking bright for you, man.
yeah,
With it.
I'm just the star of the line for me on this one, and I'm just hoping I can keep all my ducks in a row, stay healthy, and yeah, man. Everyone's telling me the sky is the limit, and I really want to believe that, but that doesn't come without hard work. So I'm gonna make sure I put that in too, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. How often do you train? Like
Never less than 4 days a week.
yeah.
So I always go at least 2 days a week to the gym, and I'm there for a couple hours at a time. And then on Saturday is our sparring practice. It's a real tough practice. And then typically I run hills and get a good strength and conditioning lift in on Sundays. I said 2 days during the week before. That's when I'm not in camp. So when I'm in camp, it's 3 days a week for during the week. So any 3 days between Monday and Friday, and then I've got our sparring practice on Saturday, and I'm running hills and working out on Sunday.
Yeah, and your gym has a couple UFC fighters as well. You got Ode Osborne. I'm pretty sure. Who else? You
Yeah,
guys?
so O'Day was with us for a while, and then I think it was shortly after he got signed, he ended up moving out to Vegas. He had his own thing going on, but I'm still in touch with O'Day. I'm still a great friend of his, and I wish him well and all the success too. So
So he no longer trains at the gym.
not at Pura Vida anymore, but pretty much anytime I'm out I didn't have a chance to this last time, but like the next time I go out to Vegas, I'm definitely going to reach out to him because he's a resident there now. So he'll
Oh
be
yeah.
he'll be a frequent stop. When I'm going out to visit the PI and stuff.
All right, that's interesting, man. Let's see what I got next. Um, yeah. Any like hobbies and whatnot that you like to do outside of MMA?
Yeah, man. So shoot, right off the bat, I like shooting guns. Me and my girl got a big ass garden. We like doing we got our own little homesteading thing going. What else do I like? I like longboarding, snowboarding, wakeboarding, anything on a board, except paddleboarding. Um, yeah, what else, man? Shoot, I got a pit bike. I like riding around on my dirt bike and stuff with my dogs and my kids. Hiking, anything that keeps me mildly active.
Quite
So
adventurous.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, I enjoy skateboarding, man. I have my own one. Man,
Yeah.
it's so fun. Like I love that.
Yeah, I skated a lot when I was younger, but it seemed like the bigger I got, like I'm 6'1" and I'm like 205. I know bigger guys ride a skateboard. I just feel like I'm way more comfortable on longboards, and because of
Yeah.
the training and stuff, it's a little bit safer for me. I've got a little bit more surface area and stuff to stand on. I'm not trying to do all the tricks and hit the rails and all that kind of stuff. I do when I snowboard. Um, but as far as like riding like a traditional skateboard, I try to stay away from just because I'm reckless, man. So I'll get hurt trying to do some dumb shit I shouldn't do, and I just stay away from the things that can get me hurt. That's like I've got a '99 Springer Softail, the Harley, and I ride it frequently, but not for very long. I'll go on like 5 or 10 minute rides, and then I park it again because if I ride it for too long, I get too comfortable, and when I get comfortable, I get reckless. So
Yeah, for me, I don't have like a traditional skateboard. I have like a cruiser board.
okay,
Like,
yeah, that's
yeah,
that's exactly what I'm into. Yep.
yeah. Because for me, same thing. I feel like if I'm on a skateboard, traditional one, I'm gonna definitely try hitting like a flip, and I'm gonna break my ankles. It's just
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Yeah, or fall and break your wrist or something. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that can go wrong, and I do enough stuff that can potentially hurt me. So I got to kind of wean things down to just like 5 or 6 risky activities.
Yeah. How was the experience in Vegas, by the way, with like the PI and whatnot? How was that?
The PI is incredible. I can't wait to go back and train there. Everything appears to be state of the art. And you never know who you're going to see going in there too. I mean, there's all kinds of famous faces. Um, the treatment that facility offers to fighters is the best you're going to find worldwide. And so I'm really going to make it a priority in fight camps to go out to the PI and train there. And I think you get a +1 too. So I'd be happy to bring a good training partner with me. Yeah, I mean, as far as Vegas, I've been to Vegas before. It all depends what you want to do, man. There's nothing in Vegas that you can't find. So the city's got everything you need. I think if I had to name my favorite part though, it would be the simplicity of Dana White's Contender Series. The staff are super cool. It runs super smooth. And I love that the promotion itself is just stripped down to 5 fights. That's it. There's no walkout music. There's no big crowd with a bunch of drunk people spewing stupid shit at you. You literally walk out and fight, and that to me was super, it gave me a really big sense of calm, just being able to focus only on the fight. You don't have anybody yelling dumb stuff in the crowd. There's not a bunch of drunk, rowdy people. There's no big announcer or anything. It's all kept super simple, and that I did really well with. I felt like I was just going out for a sparring session. And so in the future, I really look forward to fighting at the Apex, just because of the way it's all designed.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people hate on the Apex. For me, I actually really like it. I think it's a really cool, I like the smaller arena, same thing with you saying, like the smaller crowds. It's nicer because, like you said, there's not a lot of people just shouting dumb shit, man.
Yeah, no, and I totally get, like, that's not to say I can't flourish in an arena or something too. There's just, for me, there's just a lot less to think about when I'm in there. You've got a handful of people. There's maybe 50 people in there, and there's no big crazy light shows or anything. I mean, the Apex Arena is like smaller. It's smaller than like a high school gymnasium. I would have to say that, where they put the cage and stuff. Yeah. It's not a very big room, and like I said, man, it really helped me really helped me feel composed. It just didn't. There was no pressure going in, which is funny because I've fought on way smaller shows with more people around, but I guess there was just a lot more promotional stuff going on, and I felt way more pressure. But going into this, like I said, I felt like I was going to have a sparring round in the cage. Like I was at the gym and I was having a sparring round.
That sounds like the dream, man. Like for me, I do want to give MMA a go in the future. I'm currently 15. I'm training right now. I'm training at my local gym, Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and occasionally I'll do boxing, but the boxing sessions are in the morning and I have school, so
yeah,
a bit difficult. But yeah, I'm after this, I'm gonna go train. I think it's Muay Thai today. I'm gonna train, and then yeah. So what are your tips for someone like me who's just trying to make it?
I would say just stay committed to it. If you're still in high school, you definitely have to wrestle. Wrestling is easily the best foundation for fighting. So if you have that opportunity now, I highly recommend you take it. It doesn't matter if you are worried about not being good at it or anything like that. That's not the point of doing it. There's an intense mental rewiring I think a lot of people have to do if they're gonna decide to swim in a room full of wrestlers. And I think that same mindset applies to fighting really, really well. So that would be the first one. And the second one is just staying committed to it, man. Anybody that you see having success, a large amount of success in the sport, it's not because, well, I shouldn't say it's not because some of those people, it's because they're just an athletic phenom. Other people just never stop doing it. There's a lot of people who've been in the UFC for a long time, and what's enabled them to stay there for so long is that they've just stayed consistent in training the whole time. And I think those are really just the two big key factors for me, at least.
Yeah, for me, I enjoy training. Like I enjoy it when I'm in there and I'm working hard. Because I know it's all worth it, and then I know it's all gonna pay off. Yeah, man, that's why. Like for me, I hate skipping training. Whenever I have something that I have to do, like an errand or something, and I have to skip training, like or one of the sessions of the day, it bugs me. Like I like being in the gym, and I like sparring, and I like training. That's I don't know. I feel most comfortable there.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the same boat. I was also I was a really hyper kid too. And so, and I think I still deal with, some of those same tendencies today. And I think I think training really helps me channel some of that like hyperactive restlessness that I have. Because I'm the same way. If that, like, there's days that I'll be like pent up or just irritable about something, and I can't really pinpoint why. But then I'll go, maybe just work out in my garage for a little bit, or I'll go do an hour or two at the gym, and I come back and I feel way better. I think my brain just needs that energy exerted in a way somehow, and to feel that sense of calm.
Yeah, for me, the worst things are like the small little injuries, man. Because I'm constantly like I do spar like at least once or so a week. So sparring usually I walk out and I feel like a little injury at home, and it's the worst, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's just part of the training too, man. I see a lot of people who they'll get a little bump or a bruise, and then they're like, "Oh, I got to take the day off," and it's like, nah, man, if you can find a way to train through it, you really should. I had a bunch of nagging injuries going into this fight, but that's just part of the game at the end of the day. If I can pass through the pre-fight physical, I'm going to fight, man.
Yeah,
So, obviously there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. If there's an injury that's physically barring you from, your fullest potential in the cage, that's one thing, but I got aches and pains everywhere, man, and little nagging injuries that are halfway healed up that, sometimes I might re-aggravate, and, it feels like I'm starting the healing process all over or whatever. But at the end of the day, if I can do 4 rounds in the gym, I can do 4 rounds in a fight too. So that's just part of the game.
yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, and like, were you injured last year? Like, because the time between your last fight and this fight was quite a while.
Yeah, everybody was talking about that, how I had like an 11-month layoff. So in the past, between, if you see big gaps in my history of fights, some of that was injury, some of that was just struggling to find a match. This past 11 months was difficulty finding a matchup. A lot of people were either saying no. It was either a top level regional guy who might have been a bad matchup for me, or a really low level guy that I would have smashed, and we would have wanted thousands of dollars to show up to fight me, and all of the middle of the road guys didn't want anything to do with me, and so it was a really tough time finding matchups. And
Yeah.
finally, I was supposed to fight a kid named Preston LaGrange in Davenport, Iowa. And once this Contender Series opportunity came up, we obviously went with that instead. And then my teammate ended up fighting him instead. So,
Did your teammate get the W?
no, he lost. He got triangled in the second round, but it was short notice for him, and he's a 170. So, but he won won the first round though, and gave the guy a heck of a fight, which I think that guy needed to. So I even though he lost the fight, I think it was great experience for my teammate, and just something that he can get better from.
Yeah. Like you were saying, the Apex, they don't do no walkout songs or nothing.
I think they do on like actual UFC cards they
Yeah,
do,
but
but on
on the
Dana White's
Contender
Contender
yeah.
Series they don't. And I would be okay not having walkout music for the rest of my life, honestly.
You don't like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I just feel like whatever song you pick, people are going to identify you by. And I listen to so much different music. I don't want to walk out to a song and have people think that that's like, I don't know, just yeah, exactly. I wish I could pick like 40 different songs to walk out to.
Yeah, man.
But so I'd almost just rather do me and walk out in dead silence. But no, in the future I'm going to have to pick one, man. You got to walk out to something. But like I said, I liked the way the show was geared. I did really well with that. I handled it well.
Yeah, for me, I'm always constantly looking through my playlist. Like, oh, in my first fight, I'm gonna walk out to this. In my first fight, I haven't even started like my amateur fights yet, and I'm talking about like what song I'm gonna walk out to, man.
That's you're thinking the same thing everybody is though before they have their first fight. Like that's like one of like the key things about having your first fight is like, oh, I'll get a walkout song.
Yeah.
I'll get to play that tune that I've always imagined walking out to fight to, and yeah, man, it's your thought process isn't any different than anybody else who's ever done it. I'm on, my next fight will be damn near, I think, like my 17th fight between amateur and pro, and I still struggle like with what song I want to pick because I've got so many different ones that I'd like to walk out to, but then I'll hear like one little sliver of the lyrics that like I don't really identify or agree with, and I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't pick that one, even though I still love the song, But
Yeah.
I get to overthinking it too much, and I love that I didn't have to think about it at all when it came to Contender Series because you don't get one.
Yeah, what are your like main things when you're like walking out or build up to a fight and you're like you have to like channel the nerves and you just have to focus? Like how do you do it?
I for me, every in the back, I'm losing my shit. I go through a big roller coaster of emotions, but I'm constantly bouncing back between like all the confidence in the world and no confidence. Um, but the second it's time to like walk out, all of that goes away, and it's kind of too late to be nervous about anything anymore. You're gonna go fight that guy, and there's people in here who are gonna watch you do it, and that's all there is to it. But I would say the biggest relief I have is finally being able to just walk out for each one because it's the warming up in the back and the anticipation that really eats me alive.
Yeah. And when you're in the cage, do you ever like feel like you're doing something wrong or you're like you like your whole mind blanks out or are you locked in like in the cage?
I think I just find a sense of I don't want to say like inner peace, but I just come to terms with everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Uh, it's too late to be scared or timid or nervous or even angry. That guy across from you is going to come and try to hurt you, and what are you going to do about it? Is really the only thing I can think of. That's my only train of thought, and from there, I really am just reacting to everything. I don't really. That's where a lot of coaches will talk about like drilling something into your muscle memory. That's why, so that you don't have to think about it when you're in the cage and everything's just kind of reactionary. And that's all it is I just try to react to whatever's being thrown at me. Hello?
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Oh,
Yeah, I think my coaches said like I can have my first amateur fight like early next year, like January, February. And then for me, I'm just looking forward to it, man. Like I love the idea of being able to fight,
yeah.
and it's so exciting for me. Like I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like my future's bright, and I just have to give this a go. You know what I'm saying?
I felt the same way.
Yeah.
So
And how are you on the amateurs?
I was 7-1 as an amateur. I fought some tough guys. I fought some shitty guys. I beat everybody except a tough kid from Nebraska. I kind of got steamrolled by in the first round. But it was a good learning experience. I tried to lock horns with a bigger bull than me, and
Yeah.
it paid. It gave me some experience points in the IQ area. If I ever have to fight somebody like that again, I'm gonna go about it totally different.
Yeah. And for you, the grappling is your main thing, right? Like,
Yeah, I would say that's definitely what I resort to. But I think if you asked anybody that I train with, they would tell you I'm a good striker too. I
mm,
just I don't tend to rely on it a whole lot if I don't have to.
yeah. Um, Let me see what else. Oh, I don't know, man. I think I've run out of questions. I'll be completely honest. It was it was an awesome chat, man. Like,
Yeah, not a problem, man.
thank you so much
Yeah,
for joining me, man. Appreciate your time.
yeah, no problem, man.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, boss. Catch you later.
Take care. Catch you
Bye.
later.